out of the blue, there's people whispering in your ear, kind of like you should look at Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So actually, I think that would be a fun topic to address and to get your guys' viewpoints. If you want to get into that, just for a little bit, since it's all the hype and rage right now.
Oh, that's really
What's your
funny.
opinion, Nick?
Okay, so it's funny because I was planning to bring this topic up, like over the weekend, but then I saw Jay posted something on his Five Fighter blog, and then I even saw this guy, respect on CEO.ca, Goldfinger, had this article this morning about how his Uber driver asked him about Ethereum. So it's got all of the elements of like everybody's converging on this. Of course, Twitter as well. I'll say, try to keep it short. I think one of the best things that I looked at over the weekend, which has made me very, very cautious, was Fabi's old video. Excuse me, video from early on. Using Google Trends. And I don't know if Fabi looked into this because I think this is great, but you look at how to invest in Bitcoin in all quotes, or how to invest in Ethereum. And the fact that both of them are absolutely sky high. Actually,
Yes.
Ethereum just, surprised me even more because this is really like, that wasn't even known a few months ago, but that one's just on a relative basis through the roof. From a speculator's point of view, you have to be absolutely cautious. And I think it's even ridiculous for someone to, well, at least from my viewpoint, to like be like, oh, we're not quite at the euphoria stage yet. Like
I
there's still
think we
some
are.
run. Yeah. And like to me, it doesn't matter. It on every signal, it goes against like every fiber in my body. Like this is the absolute opposite of contrarianism of anything. Now, the final quick point is people tend to confuse, or at least they, even the supposed experts in the Bitcoin or Ethereum industry, they keep confusing the idea of these as a speculation versus, something valuable in the future. And I really don't like that either, because it's one thing to defend it as, this is going to be, a fundamental part of monetary infrastructure or something, like with blockchain and all that. But they talk about that, and then they talk about like you have to get in, and it's not the same thing at all. So from a speculator's point of view, I'm totally against it. It might be valuable in a different way, but it's just like I am like running to the hills. Like I will not touch either of these. Like no way.
Yeah, I had a similar shoeshine boy moment as well when I went to my husband's aunt and uncle's home, and I had people there also ask me about Bitcoin. People who are in no way, shape, or form even interested in investing in technology, in currencies, anything like that whatsoever. And they were asking me if it was a good buy. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Probably not. I could be wrong, but this would be a great way to lose a lot of money because everybody already knows about it. I mean, I can't really picture somebody who has not heard of Bitcoin, and that to me is a huge red flag. Like Nick said, yeah, go on Google Trends and just see. Even other coins like Ethereum, like Dash, like other like non-Bitcoin branded coins, and you're gonna see like, hey, like there's something really strong going on here. And I'm also on co.ca right now looking at the trending topics. Now this is a crowd that's hardcore rocks and gold and all the boring stuff, and two of the trending topics are electronic currency related, such as Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're both there as the top 12. And to me, when the geology crowd gets into Bitcoin, that's a red flag as well. We can't consider ourselves to be insiders and at the very center of the circle of any fad or any craze or any trend. If it's something completely outside of what we usually do, then you know what? Maybe it's the top. Maybe we've reached the mania point. And I'm not saying that it will not go up from here. I mean, You see, you take a look at the bubble of the late 90s, early 2000, and the tech stocks. My theory is that something similar is going to happen. I don't think that electronic money or currency is going to go away per se, but I think that in a similar manner, there's going to be a huge crash because we're going up too much too fast, and we're going to run out of people who think, a Bitcoin at $3,000 is a good deal. And then after that crash, I think there's going to be a period of consolidation, and then some coins are going to really rise to the top and slowly make their way up, and actually not just be that crazy thing that you buy to make money, but that you buy to actually purchase things, or to save money, and things like that. I think it needs to be more used as a currency, because right now I just see it as speculation. I think it needs to start to be a real alternative to like the dollar and the yen and the euro, and then I think we're more likely to see them go up again slowly but surely, like we see now with tech stocks. You had the Amazon of the crash, but obviously it was a real business, and then slowly but surely it made its way to the top, but it had to prove itself through many years, and I predict that that's what's gonna happen.
Would agree with you on that because anything that rises too far too fast, it turns into a speculation. And I think a lot of the people piling in now, they forget what Bitcoin and all the cryptocurrencies were designed to do in the first place. I mean, if you think about it as being a store of value, an alternative form of currency, it's kind of convenient. You're able to move money around rather easy. That's kind of one of the big knocks on holding gold or physical precious metals is you have to store it somewhere, and if you want to transport it out of the country or something, it's just kind of a nightmare. I'm sure it can be done, but it's just not as straightforward a path as something that's digital. That's in the virtual world kind of thing. So that's kind of where it started from, and that's the appeal. But anytime you see price movement that rise that drastically, you're gonna just get a lot of the speculators into the space that just want to make big profits. There's a lure in that, chasing eye candy. So, I kind of use a lot of different indicators to kind of just tell me where we kind of are with things. And, right now it's incredible because there's people like from, all across the board that are approaching me, whether it's like on the blog or family or friends or what have you. And they're basically saying you have to get into this trade now because it's just starting. It's not even the first inning. It's like pre-games. And, I think somebody, just if you look at the most recent post I have, there's some more Bitcoin chatter. And I recently wrote a post on cryptocurrencies because somebody had left me a comment basically saying, what's your deal? You haven't even written one article about this topic. It's kind of like you're kind of behind the times and you're focusing on the wrong thing kind of. So, that just gave me one incentive anyway to do a little bit more research and, just to kind of see where things are. But, I mean, similar to last year with gold and silver trade, when people even on Facebook are kind of asking you like, are you buying or are you getting into this? It just raises a red flag. Again, it's just I experienced this last year with lithium, and even with lithium, I don't think it's a dead industry, even though the stocks and the companies have all consolidated, let's say by 50%, and there's been this huge retracement. But like Fabi said, you need a period of consolidation, and the industry or the sector as a whole needs to be tested, and over time, I think the real companies with the real products. With real merit will start to separate themselves from the pack. Because right now, I think what's going to happen is you're just going to just have a plethora of companies and newcomers that are going to try to pile into the industry. And that was no different with lithium, just trying to catch the wave as it's rising. Everybody wants to go along for the ride because, a rising tide will lift all boats. And I'm not an expert in the crypto space. I'm just getting into it myself, just in terms of research, not that I'm lining up to buy or anything. But I just think we're going to see a lot more of these coins that are going to be developed and formed. And, pretty soon there's just going to be too many to keep track of. And the next thing you know, there will be some period of consolidation, and the real companies or cryptocurrencies will duke it out, and the best ones will emerge. And I think that will be the healthiest way. And for me, I really don't have interest chasing hype, because I just you never want to be too late, and you never know when the consolidation will start. And with these things that move too fast, I just think you can see a retracement of 50% or more. And it doesn't suggest that the sector is broken or anything like that. It's just that's what a healthy retracement looks like, to kind of wash away all the latecomers and the specs.
Mm-hmm.
I've got something really quick to add to that. So it's just from a speculator's point of view. I've been trying to think about the last cycle, like the mining cycle in the early 2000s a little more. So in 1999, if you looked at the tech versus mining, tech was in that last like crazy super boom, but mining was really, really at a bottom. I think gold even hit a bottom. Now the thing is, you fast forward 3 years to 2002, you could have had that opportunity in tech, as Jay mentioned in his recent article, like to see the ones that survived, like the Amazon or Apple, where they were so much cheaper and you could buy them. But mining, whether it was 99 or 2002, you could have bought things on the cheap either way, and you could still have made a lot of money in mining, buying in 99. It was kind of like mining was just so low for so long, while tech, you were at that last surge in 99, and it finally crashed in 2002. And so that fits more my mindset. I would rather always stick with what's cheap. And in hindsight, tech was great in 2002, but 99 was the dangerous time. And there are people out there who know how to trade those markets at the top, but that's not me, and that's exactly what Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of them feel like. So it's just kind of interesting to look at those parallels to 15 or 20 years ago.
Yeah, one thing with the cryptos that make it harder to kind of evaluate from a speculation point of view is when you look at the total market cap of the entire industry, it's just it's minuscule, right? It's even a fraction of the gold and silver and precious metals industry. And off the top of my head, I don't have a exact figure. I think it's like there's 16 million or so Bitcoin. Is it 16 million? Yeah, I think like 16 million Bitcoins or so in circulation. So I mean, just think about that for a second. Just as an example, let's say you were getting into some early stage explorer, and there's 16 million shares. Just as an example, it's not apples to apples or anything. But let's just assume that this explorer makes a major discovery, and then all the hype comes in, and everybody wants in, to the stock. And there's only 16 million shares, and they're not really issuing anything more of significance. I mean, you can just kind of imagine what it would do to the share price in the short term. And that's kind of, I think, one reason why these cryptos are rising so sharply is the supply is relatively limited, if you compare it to other markets. I think one of the appeals and allure, and this is what I was kind of writing about in my last article, is, a lot of people are frustrated with the gold and silver trade because, every morning around 9 to 10 a.m., the spot price tends to, go in one direction and one direction only. And, it's kind of become like clockwork kind of thing. And, I think for a lot of people, it's very trying if you don't have the time horizon of basically saying, I'm putting speculative money here, capital at risk, and I'm willing to wait 3 to 5 years or something for, the trend to kind of agree with me. I mean, as we all know, it's human nature to want instant gratification kind of thing. So in the crypto space, it is nice to see prices rise, whether it's linear or exponentially, and you don't really worry about a 9 or 10 a.m. smackdown, which, can just erase all gains, and you're kind of like baffled. You're looking at the screen like, it took so long to climb these stairs, and then you kind of take the elevator right back down, and, you got to start all over again kind of thing. So, it does make me ponder in a sense, like what would gold and silver really, I mean, what would these stocks and even the metals be trading at if we weren't always having to look over our shoulder and kind of worry about, somebody coming in and, pulling the plug, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does raise that question for sure. Going back to like Bitcoin and people's just ultimate blind faith in cryptocurrencies is that I don't think people are thinking. How do I put it? I think that cryptocurrencies haven't been tested to the full yet. I don't think that government has actually gone after cryptocurrencies with all their technology and all their knowledge yet. I think they have bigger things to worry about. And the truth is, we don't really know what the government knows, and we don't know how farther along their technology is. Because we have to remember, the way technology works sometimes is it trickles down from whatever tech companies can sell to the government first, and then 10 years later the public starts understanding what is capable today. And so we don't really know what could happen and what could be a black swan event for Bitcoin. It might just be that we run out of buyers, but it might be something absolutely bizarre. For instance, and this actually happened in Canada not too long ago. There's a strange solar activity, and then the grid is down, like there is no electricity, and then people can't do anything, and so things like that could really, really really just destroy people's credibility in the rising price of any cryptocurrency. So there's just so much that we don't know yet. And yes, I do believe in cryptocurrencies long term. I just don't think that we've seen an all-out battle, government and technology against cryptocurrencies to see which ones are the ones that are really going to win long term. Because I remember, it's not that I remember per se, but going back and doing some research about the .com boom and bust, you had companies that were just complete nothings that were valued at many, many millions, and they did not have a real business behind them. And I think we're going to see who's swimming naked when this tide really turns. But it might be a little bit too early to say.
Yeah, for sure. Because if you think about it, 3 or 6 months ago, did you guys even know what Ethereum was?
Nope.
I mean,
I did, but don't count me in.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been bruised bad enough that I would know.
Okay. I just, the first time I heard Ethereum, I was like, "Are you serious? This is like something like out of like Physics 101 or something." Like I was just like so like taken aback by it. And then to your point, it's like when like right now people are saying, at least I've gotten some feedback. It's basically saying it's too late for Bitcoin. You want to be in Ethereum because it's the future, and this is where all the major backing is going to come from. At some point, it will even outpace Bitcoin and have a larger market cap kind of thing. So it's back to your point, Fabi, where this stuff is kind of still in its infancy. If you think about when the internet first started, it's going to take a while for the dust to settle and for us to know what technology and which crypto is going to emerge as the clear-cut consensus is going to be the winner throughout all this. So like for a while everybody said Bitcoin is a sure thing, and that was kind of the narrative the last few years, because Bitcoin was kind of like one of the first cryptos that got started and gained traction. But even within the last year, you can kind of see the sentiment shifting a bit. I mean, you have a lot of these really diehard, adamant supporters of Ethereum now, and it just makes me wonder, like, what might possibly come after that. Because when it comes to technology, I mean, one thing we all know is it changes on a dime, so you've always got to be on the lookout on what could happen next. And that's kind of the comfort I have in certain, really, if you like classical, traditional stores of value, if you will. Gold and silver is just, they are what they are. They've been the same way for thousands of years. They're not going to change. It's very easy to comprehend and understand it. So that's kind of why I'm like interested in this crypto space. I'll research it and try to learn more. But just instinctively, I gravitate back towards gold and silver. I just think it's much easier to comprehend.
I just love the fact that people believe that this is a new paradigm, because that's precisely what makes the top of any bubble.
Yep.
It's always different this time.
It's exactly. And you know what? This is really believable. Cryptocurrencies, like, what the heck? That is something very new, something none of our parents or grandparents comprehend at all. So obviously, this must be something that it's going to be so much hotter in the future that we got to get in now. And I just, it's true, but at the same time, that's what makes it a bubble. So
Yep. Yep.
wow, we just talked about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for about 20 minutes. This must be the top. There you go, another indicator.